Okay, welcome back, dear friends. Today I'd like to continue our series of Vulnhub. The virtual machine would be Chanakya, and I will add the link into the description section below so that you can download this virtual machine. Before we begin today's video, if you don't mind, please subscribe to my channel. I do appreciate your help and support. Now, let's just get started. To save time, I have already imported this virtual machine into the VMware workstation. Now we enter into the canonics. As you can see over here, I have already identified the IP address of the virtual machine as 161. Then I did the nmap scanning, I did the scene scan, the version scan, the default script scan. I also did the comprehensive scan by specifying the option of -p-. Of course, also output the result into this file. So maybe I need to run this command again. So wait a moment, because when I did this virtual machine, the first time, the FTP service is running. Yeah, now it's actually right. So maybe the nmap is not always correct. Sometimes you need to try it several times. So as you can see over here, there are 3 open ports on the virtual machine. The first one is 21, which is running FTP service, and also the version information. Maybe it's not so much actual or specific. Anyway, and also this FTP service doesn't allow anonymous login. And the second one is 22, which runs SSH service and also the actual version information, including the version number. And as we know, this version doesn't have any vulnerability. And the third one, which is 80, running HTTP service and also the actual version information, which is Apache 2. So what can we do next is to do some enumeration for the 80 port, right? Because the 21, at this point, we have already got everything we can. And then we can open up our browser. Maybe I need to close all the existing tabs. Okay, so this is the home page of this virtual machine. And also there's some super links, like you can click several super links inside this page or home page. But these pages just a static page, yeah, like this one, maybe cannot give us any useful information. I mean, from the perspective of the penetration. So what can we do is to do some directory enumeration with the tool like GoBuster, and specify the IP address of the target, and usually the first word list I always use is GoBuster, and yeah, this one, and I autocomplete this command. Okay, I think although the GoBuster can identify some files like HTML files and the directories, assets, and images, but I can tell you we cannot find anything from such directories and also the static HTML pages. But you can notice here there is one file, the text file. We can access this file to see what's about. And just a string. But this string is a bit weird, right? We cannot get to know what it means. So maybe this message or string is encoded. For example, like because it looks like some sort of a transposition algorithm is employed in this encoding. So we can use the Cyberchef to decode this message. And we can go to the Cyberchef. Cyberchef is very good online tool when we do the encoding and decoding. And we can make a copy of this string or message. And we can paste in here. And the operations or algorithm, we can choose the IoT. The normal one is IoT 13. Yeah, immediately we got output. It looks like a pickup file. And we can copy this file name and access this file. Okay? Yeah, we successfully downloaded this pickup file. You know, such a file is some sort of a package which captured by the Wireshark or maybe similar tools. Okay? And then we can, I think we can interrupt this process of directory enumeration. And we can move the pickup file from the downloads file directory to our working directory for convenience. And now we can use the Wireshark to open up this pickup file. And let's make this bigger. Yeah, this is some sort of UDP package. Let's scroll down. Scroll down again. Scroll down. Scroll down. Yeah, here is TCP, but we cannot find something useful. Let's continue scrolling. Okay. Yeah, here, as you can see, we have noticed some packets which are related to the FTP service. So maybe we can follow the TCP stream. This would be a lot easier to find something, to find useful information. Immediately we can find the username and password. And we can make a copy of such information into the pad. And I have already done that before. Yeah, just displayed over here. And then we can log in to the virtual machine. Maybe we can quit the Wireshark and FTP. And the username is Ahsoka. And also the password. Okay. But nothing here. So maybe now we are within the home directory of this user, Asaka. Since we have already entered into the home directory of the FTP, through FTP, sorry, maybe we can upload the public key into this directory and then get the shell or initial for the hold. But before we do that, we need to generate the key pairs. Okay, let's open up a new tab. Okay, and we can use the key generator, but maybe we can first got the directory or path information, and then we just want to save the key pairs into the current directories. So I can make a copy of this path and specify the private key name. No need to supply the passphrase. Okay, so we have already generated the private key and the public key. And we can generate the authorized keys and then upload the authorized keys onto the virtual machine. And but before we do that, we need to set up the SSH directory and go to, not change directory, but the make directory. And now we can go to the SSH directory and put and we can put the authorized keys. Okay, and then go to the SS directory. Okay, it's fine. Then we need to change mode for the private key, and then we can use this private key to log in to the virtual machine via SSH and its corresponding private key. We successfully log in as this user, Asuka. And we can list the content of the home directory, but nothing useful here. And we can go to the home directory, go to another home directories of another user. So nothing special here. And also you can check the sudo. Now our goal is to elevate our privilege. We need to take the standardized procedure to do that. But password, wrong password? I don't think so. Asuka. Sorry, we didn't have the password for this user, so it's okay. So I think now also we can cut the kernel information. So I think from the kernel information and the release version, maybe this virtual machine has some local privilege escalation availability. But how to do that? Maybe we can, of course, we can upload the name-pairs share script, and to see whether we can find out such vulnerabilities. It does. To save time, I don't want to do that here. Although this shell script can find out some local vulnerability, but maybe cannot work properly. So the next or the alternative technique is to upgrade this shell to the Metapredator, and then we can utilize some features of the Metasploit to do the privilege escalation. And we can go to the temp directory, and we can open up another new tab, and we can generate the payload by MSF volume. And I'd like to autocomplete this command. Yeah, and now we need to upload this payload to the virtual machine. And how to do? We just use the Python to set up the web server. And now we can use the wget escalate, and we need to change mode and run. But before we run this payload, we need to set up the listener or handler. Rather, we need to launch the Metasploit console. Okay, it's loading. And then we can use the exploit multi-handler. And we need to set the payload, which should be the same as the payload here as we generate the payload. Okay, and the show option, we can set the local host to our Kali Linux and set the local port to 66. Yeah, of course, this also should be the same as this one when we created the payload. Okay, now we can run and go back to our virtual machines shell and run the escalate payload. Now we got the Metapredator session, and we can background this session and or Metapredator session. We can search the suggester, and we can use this suggester module. Yeah, this module can help us to identify the way to elevate the privilege. And I think the only option we need to set is a session number, because now we just got the only one session. And now let's run. And this local exploit suggester will go through all possible vulnerabilities and also the corresponding exploits. So we wait for this process to be completed, and it will take a bit long time because it will go through all possible vulnerabilities. Yeah, this Metapredator module, the suggester, is very, very wonderful in some cases when we do the local privilege escalation. Okay? Because it will automate many jobs for us. Yeah, the target appears to be vulnerable. And yeah, this suggester module have already returned some potential vulnerabilities and exploits. But I can tell you, when I use these two exploits, it failed. Both two failed. You can try yourself. So I think the only possible way is to use another module, check root kit. Yeah, we need to use this one to elevate our privilege. And we can set the options. And we can set the local host to our Kali Linux. And we can set different local port. And we need to set the session number. Of course, just now we got only one session. And now let's run. And this module will wait for the Chrome and then run the check root kit. Yeah, we have already got the second metapret session, and we can go to the shell. The ID, yeah, now we are root user, and go to the root directory, and then we can got the final flag or root flag. Okay, so that's all I'd like to go through in this virtual machine. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.